After being requested for several months, today is finally time to go over all the locations, the best times, and every single hotspot map to hunt all the species on Medved Taiga. Alright, so we're gonna start by going over the locations where it is possible to find moose. You know, the moose is a class 8 animal which goes from level 1 to level 5 medium, being capable of making diamond at both level 4 and level 5. And as for the best time to hunt them, undoubtedly their drink time is the time where it is easier to come across moose. You know, they drink from 12 to 1600, and at this time it is actually possible to find them on pretty much every single body of water across the entire map, since their habitat is essentially the entire reserve. You know, this map is usually regarded by many people as the best map to grind for a great one moose, and I think the reason is very clear. You know, some lakes are quite open and a good number of those lakes tend to have a decent number of moose, which makes them ideal for grinding. For example, this big square lake is normally one of those spots where you may see a good number of drink zones as well as a good number of males, which in combination with the fact that it's a relatively open lake makes it one of the main grinding locations for a lot of people. Also, in addition to this lake, other location that tends to stand out for moose is this frozen river, which also tends to have a great number of males, although I gotta say that it is more inconsistent than the last locations, since it is not as great in some maps. Actually, that is the same case for this frozen area, which most of the times is gonna be a decent location, but in some maps it may be far from good. I mean, all maps are different, the areas that are good for you may not be as good for other people, but the hotspots I'm mentioning are those areas that tend to be more consistent. Look at that, level 8 brown bear, 24 to 27 estimate. He is definitely a big bear, although I don't think the level 8 diamond brown bears are actually things, since I've never seen one posted. Now, the brown bear is a species that is present across a wide range of locations, actually covering the entire reserve, but there are still some places where it is normally easier to spot a lot of brown bears. For instance, the lower part of this frozen river is generally very good, same case for the northeastern side of the coast, which is also a nice spot to hunt brown bears while they are drinking. You know, their drink time is from 2000 to midnight, which means that you gotta hunt them at night. Also, in addition to the locations I mentioned, this other big lake tends to have a good amount of bears as well, and occasionally these two lakes down here are also quite good, but only sometimes. You know, it really depends on your map. Some maps are better than others, but most of the times they are gonna be decent spots, worth checking. Same case for this cluster of lakes right here on the southwestern region, which are also known for producing quite a lot of diamonds. So we're gonna shoot this guy using the 44 lever action rifle, which is honestly far from being the best weapon to shoot brown bears, but it has more than enough penetration to go through that single lung. You know, certainly the best rifles you can use are both the 300 and the 338, those are certainly the best, but you can also use some of the 4 to 8 class rifles or 4 to 9, like is the case of the 7mm, while also getting some decent performance. And well, especially if you get a hard shot like we just did. So now let's harvest this brown bear, which of course won't be any bigger than a simple gold. And yeah, it is only 26.8, we tracked it for 2.35 kilometers, and as you can see we hit a single lung in the heart. Now, the next species we're gonna cover on this guide are all the wild boar, the grey wolf and the lynx, and you may be wondering why these three species at once. Well, the reason is very simple, it's because these three species inhabit the entire map, and frankly it is really hard to identify any locations that are better than the others, since their populations are evenly distributed across the entire reserve. You know, I could certainly mention some areas like the frozen river, the northern coast or the big lake, but the truth is that the hotspots for this species will vary a lot from map to map, since apart from being pretty much everywhere, the population density of this species is low, which essentially causes the zones to be quite spread out across the entire reserve. So definitely the best thing I can do for you guys in order to have success hunting these animals is show you the best times to visit the locations on which they are active. For example, the wild boar drinks from midnight to 3 in the morning, then the lynx from 3 in the morning to 6 in the morning, and the grey wolf from 1700 to 2000. Level 3 capercaillie. Finally a true diamond potential. You know, the diamond capercaillie is along the diamond grey wolf, the only two diamonds I still don't have here on Medved since they were added to the reserve, so seeing one of these after so long is certainly amazing. Now, regarding the areas where it's possible to find capercaillies here on Medved Taiga, their habitat is essentially the entire bottom half of the map, you know, this entire region. And as for the locations where I normally have better luck finding lots of capercaillies compared to the others, this area down here is normally a spot worth checking, which is actually the same case for the area around the frozen river, which is also good. I mean, the hotspots may be a bit different on your map, but the thing that won't change is the home range, you know, they are always gonna be located on the bottom half of the map, mostly. Also, it is important to keep in mind that the capercaillies can be a especially difficult species to track since they are really skittish, and most of the times if you are not careful enough while chasing them, they are gonna end up spooking before you can even get close enough to shoot them using the shotgun. So in order to avoid that, I definitely recommend you to walk instead of running while chasing a capercaillie, since this way most of the times you are gonna be able to approach them just enough to get inside the shotgun range and kill them without any problem. Oh, there he is! He's flying this way. Finally! We hit him? At least the first time. And now let's see if this is in fact our first diamond capercaillie here on Medved Taiga. Fingers crossed. 4.69, it is a diamond. Not a huge diamond, but it's a diamond nonetheless, and a diamond capercaillie after several months since they were added to the reserve, our first one. Now that's a monster Musk Deer. Look at that estimate. Up to 293 and the diamond score is 249. I mean, it's not a max level, but in the case of this species, the level 2s are more than capable of making it. So honestly, even though I don't wanna get my hopes up too much, since it could score at the bottom of the estimate and be just a gold, I won't be surprised if it is in fact a diamond. He's massive. Now, as for the locations to hunt Musk Deer, this species actually shares the same home range with the capercaillies, you know, they are both present exclusively on the bottom half of the map, although the difference is that the Musk Deer has a drink time, which is from 9 to 12 PM. So at this time it is possible to find them on pretty much every single body of water on this bottom half of the reserve, but I would say that the majority of their population is more concentrated on the left side of the map, you know, on this cluster of lakes and on the frozen river. Well, of course it is also possible to find them drinking on the lakes present on this site, including the two hidden lakes right here and up here. So there are certainly many potential locations where it's possible to find this species, but at the end of the day it will depend on you to find the hotspots that work better for you, taking as reference the locations I just mentioned, of course. Okay, so we're gonna shoot this potential diamond using what I think is the best caliber to hunt Musk Deer, which is the 243. I'ma go for it double long. And that's it, he's down. Now it's time to see if this very promising level 2 is in fact big enough to be a diamond. Man, that would be amazing. Let's see. No way, it is a diamond! 250.41. He made it. A level 2 diamond Musk Deer. My second ever. And it's well above the diamond score, which is even more surprising. Well, we're gonna conclude this guide by going over the locations where it's possible to find reindeer. So the reindeer basically inhabits the top half of the map, in contrast with the capercaillies and the Musk Deer, which are present on the bottom half, and their drink time is from 4 in the morning to 8 in the morning. You know, the reindeer can drink on a wide range of locations, but the best ones are undoubtedly the big lake, this big square lake, which is also good for moose. Also the top northern coast tends to be full of them, and this frozen area is another of those locations that is quite reliable when it comes to finding a good amount of reindeer.